Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Hope everyone's having a great day. So today we are going to take a look at the final numbers for round 2 of the 2020 Frauditor playoffs and find out who our top 4 are for the semifinals. And then we're going to show you the setup brackets, and voting will begin as soon as this video is posted. So let's go ahead and take a look at how it all turned out. Okay guys, so in bracket 1, it was Auditing the USA with 69.1% of the vote. So Auditing the USA will be moving on to the semifinals. Bracket 2, Accountability for All destroyed Extra Good Citizen, just like he destroyed the person before, with 94.2% of the vote. Accountability for All will be moving on to the semifinals. I'm sure that is not a surprise to anyone. Bracket 3, it is News Now Patrick moving on with 63.2% of the vote over Auditing America. I thought it would have been a little closer, but you guys spoke. Patty is worse. Congrats, Patty. You're moving on. Bracket 4, Carolina and Fort Worth, 80.9% of the vote. I remember when it first started, a lot of people didn't know who Carolina was. Maybe you guys have been watching and seen exactly what she's all about, and that is why she is moving on to the semifinals. Now let's go ahead and take a look at how the two brackets are gonna how the two brackets are gonna show up for the semifinals, who's gonna be paired against who. Alright guys, so here we are, Frauditor playoff semifinals. Bracket 1, Accountability for All and News Now Patrick. And bracket 2, Auditing the USA and Carolina Fort Worth. I will go ahead and put both of my votes in. Let's see. I'm going to go with Accountability for All and Auditing the USA. And there we go. So, make sure you go ahead and vote for the semifinals. You have until the end of the week, Sunday night, and then we will post the results, and the top 2 worst auditors will go head to head next week. Alright guys. Alright, so before we get started with today's video, I want to say a few things that happened on today in history. So today is our 18th president's, Ulysses S. Grant's, birthday. Remember, he was the 18th president, and before he was the president, he was also the commanding general in the Civil War. So, it was his birthday, and also this day in history, during the Vietnam War, there were the police and a bunch of anti-war protesters really got into fights out on the streets on this day in history. I just thought that would be an interesting thing, considering, you know, it's Ulysses S. Grant's birthday. We're talking about military and, you know, celebrating. I personally like to celebrate the military because I am former military. So I thought that was interesting what happened. And we all know there was a lot of back and forth on the Vietnam War. A lot of people believe we should have never gone in there. It was a horrible loss for us, no matter how you look at it. So, you know, we just definitely want to send our condolences to anyone that lost any kind of family member during any war, not just the Vietnam War, but this is what we're talking about right here today. Alright, so we've all seen a bunch of Josh's videos, and we all know how Josh really likes to talk about, I'm going to place you under citizen arrest. Oh, I can't wait to physically detain you and all this. And we're going to watch a little bit of that now, but then we're going to get into some actual facts of if he were to do something like that, what would it look like for him? And maybe this is why he isn't doing it, because he knows or he doesn't know, and then maybe we can educate him a little bit.
Okay, so to just skip forward, okay, we walked in this door, and the first thing they both, now, he's been okay. he tells us that there's no filming in here. I checked before I came. I know the federal regulations. I can't go back there and film. This is public law 4B. It's part of your CFR. So I want to know why he came around, physically threatened him, got up in his face. That's considered assault. Did he touch you?
I think he put his hands on me, and that's on video. I got it.
Okay, so now I'm going to have to press charges against him. All right? He happened to do it with a really big channel. All right? So now, a big channel. I do civil rights activisms, and I do...
What's the channel?
So I have a huge YouTube channel.
But he did it with a big channel?
No, he did it with me. So my concern is, he knows what we're doing here, and he still acted in that fashion. So right now, he's under citizen's arrest. Okay? Sir, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one will be presented to you at the court by no cost. You're now under citizen's arrest. So can I have your, what is your position here?
I'm in charge of security in the building.
Are you,
I'm with the Marshal Service.
Okay, you're with the Marshal Service.
Yes.
Okay. So right now he's in my custody, and he's charged with assault and disorderly conduct.
Okay.
All right? Number two, we are allowed to film in this area, correct?
I didn't say you weren't.
No, I'm asking, because you're the supervisor.
You can film right here, but you can't go further into the building.
Right. Well, I don't know why he chest bumped him and told him that we couldn't do that if you're telling me it's legal. Which I knew it was legal before I came in.
We all know what a citizen's arrest is, and we all know that as a citizen you do have that option to do that. It dates back to medieval times. It's an old tradition. And right here says a citizen's arrest is an arrest made by a private citizen that is a person who is not acting as a sworn law enforcement official. In common law jurisdictions, the practices date back to the medieval England and the English common law, in which sheriffs encouraged ordinary citizens to help apprehend lawbreakers. So that's basically what it is. Now, Josh can do that, but depending on what state he's in, there are different laws that apply, which we will get a little bit into. So here we go. It says common law. Most states have codified the common law rule that a warrantless arrest may be made by a private person for a felony, misdemeanor, or breach of peace. Breach of peace covers a multitude of violations, in which the Supreme Court has included a misdemeanor seatbelt violation punishable only by a fine. The term historically included theft, night walking, prostitution, and playing card and dice games. Texas courts have defined and interpreted the term breach of peace to mean an act that disturbs or threatens to disturb the tranquility enjoyed by the citizens. Now, hold up, guys. This says that breach of peace, the Supreme Court says breach of peace can be a seatbelt violation. Now, how many times on this channel have we seen Josh go around without a seatbelt? So that means if you go out and you happen to see Josh and he happens to not be wearing a seatbelt, you can place Josh under citizen's arrest for not wearing a seatbelt. Now, I would never encourage anybody to go and do anything like that, put themselves in harm's way. So, if you see Josh and you see him not wearing a seatbelt, do not place him under citizen's arrest. Do not wait for the police to show up and write him his little ticket. Don't do it. I would never encourage such behavior. I'm not Josh. So, that's interesting. So, breach of peace is pretty much disturbing the peace, was what Josh placed this marshal under citizen's arrest for. Okay? Now, it depends on what state you're in, too. Because different states have codified it differently. There's different standards to meet. And whenever you place someone under citizen's arrest, in a lot of states, it won't hold unless they are convicted of whatever you're arresting them for. If they're not convicted, you could be liable for a multitude of charges. Like this. Anyone who makes a citizen's arrest can find themselves facing possible lawsuits or criminal charges, such as charges of false imprisonment, unlawful restraint, kidnapping, or wrongful arrest, if the wrong person is apprehended or a suspect's civil rights are violated. This is especially true when police forces are attempting to determine who an aggressor is. Private citizens do not enjoy the same immunity from civil liability when making arrests on other private citizens as do police officers. So there you go. If you go about it the wrong way, and we all know Josh he's excitable, and he likes to open his mouth and run it and run it and run it, he can find himself in hot water when he's trying to do this, because he always likes to talk about how I'll use force if I have to. Let's explore that a little bit. Alright, use of force. In general, a private person is justified in using non-deadly force upon another if they reasonably believe that 1. Such other person is committing a felony or a misdemeanor amounting to a breach of the peace, and 2. The force used is necessary to prevent further commission of the offense and to apprehend the offender. The force must be reasonable under the circumstances to restrain the individual arrested. This includes the nature of the offense and the amount of force required to overcome resistance. In at least one state, a civilian may use reasonable force, including deadly force if reasonable, to prevent an escape from a lawful citizen's arrest. Okay, so here we go, again with the breach of peace. Now, if I'm not mistaken, frauditors, a lot of them like to call the disorderly conduct charge contempt of cop. So I guess if an auditor or frauditor makes the citizen's arrest and they are charging another ordinary citizen or a law enforcement officer of breach of peace, then is it contempt of frauditor, perhaps? Because it's a very, like they say, it's a very broad scope. Where does the First Amendment end and disorderly conduct begin? See, they're putting themselves, that's the thing, they're doing exactly the same thing the cops do by making that judgment on that. So yes, Josh can place a citizen under arrest. I think we all knew that. We all now know that he can do the whole use of force, but it also depends on what state he's in. And I think we all know Josh probably doesn't do his research on citizens arrest laws, whatever state he goes to. He goes and he just has that's part of his frauditor repertoire. Citizens arrest if I feel the need to. It's shocking. People like to see law enforcement put in their place, especially on his channel. It's what they like to see. Just like people on my channel like to see frauditors get put in their place. So, to each their own. But he needs to be careful because he could really find himself in hot water. And now, especially since a lot of the people that are watching this video are now going to be armed with the knowledge that knowing that if they happen to catch a frauditor committing a breach of peace charge, which extends to not wearing your seatbelt, you can place them under citizen's arrest. I think this is going to be interesting to see what happens with that. Are people going to listen to me and not find Josh and not have him arrested for that? Because I don't want that to happen. Don't do it. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned a thing or two. Please feel free to leave a comment, discuss it further. I'd love to. Please like, share, subscribe, show your support for the channel. Tell a friend, and I hope to see you guys next time. Also make sure, vote in the 2020 Frauditor Semifinals. Got the whole week to do it, and then next week, the finals. Only 2 left. Alright y'all, have a good one. Peace.
I can't believe you two took that raving lunatic seriously. What do you think this is?